You ever look at your bank app at the end of the month and think, wait, I make decent money. So why does it feel like my account is allergic to staying above $500? Because here's the thing, it's usually not the big stuff. It's not your rent. It's not your car payment. It's not even the one time I deserved it shopping trip. It's that one daily expense you barely notice because it feels small, harmless, even normal. The $6 coffee, the $14 lunch because I didn't pack anything, the $9 delivery fee that turns into $27 somehow, the just this once convenience purchase that happens basically every day. And look, and if you're thinking, Zach, don't you dare come for my coffee, just give me 10 minutes. Because I'm not here to shame you. I'm here to show you the math that's quietly punching holes in your financial future. My name is Zach, and I spend way too much time thinking about why seemingly small spending habits keep people broke even when they earn good money. If you're someone who keeps saying, I should be saving more, but somehow the month ends and there's nothing left, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if this helps you out. All right, let's talk about the daily expense that's costing you thousands every year. Here's what most people don't realize. The most expensive spending category in your life is often the one you don't label. Not rent, not groceries, not insurance. It's convenience. Convenience spending is the stuff you buy not because you truly want it, but because it reduces friction. You're tired, so you order delivery. You're rushed, so you grab breakfast out. You're stressed, so you buy a little treat. You don't want to think, so you pay extra for someone else to solve the problem. And the reason it's so expensive is because it's disguised as just a few bucks. But daily spending doesn't add up. It multiplies. People love to say small expenses don't matter. Focus on the big things. Look, big things matter. Absolutely. But saying small expenses don't matter is like saying a small leak in a boat doesn't matter because the boat is big. It matters when it's leaking every day. And even more importantly, small expenses matter because they're behavioral. They're repeated. They're automatic. They become identity. I'm just someone who grabs food out. I'm just someone who needs coffee. I'm just busy. That story costs you. Let's put some reality behind this. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Expenditure Survey, the average American household spends thousands per year on food away from home, restaurants, takeout, etc. In recent years, it's been roughly in the ballpark of $3,500 to $4,000 plus annually, and for a lot of households, it's way higher depending on income and location. Source BLS Consumer Expenditure Survey. And food delivery specifically has exploded. Market research firms like Statista have shown massive growth in the online food delivery market over the last decade. Translation: it's never been easier to pay extra to eat worse food, colder, for more money. Source: Statista, online food delivery market trends. Meanwhile, the Federal Reserve has consistently reported that a large portion of adults would struggle to cover an unexpected $400 expense without borrowing or selling something. Source: Federal Reserve, report on the economic well-being of U.S. households. So we have this weird situation where people are spending thousands on convenience food while simultaneously being one minor emergency away from panic. That's not a math issue, that's a psychology issue. And this is where it gets really interesting. Let's run a simple scenario. Say you spend $15 per day on a convenience expense. Could be coffee plus snack, lunch out, delivery fees, random quick stop items. $15 per day times 30 days equals $450 per month. $450 per month times 12 months equals $5,400 per year. And that's just the spending. That doesn't include tips, delivery markups, service fees, taxes. None of that. Now you might be thinking, yeah, but I don't spend $15 every day. Okay, cool. Let's do $8. $8 per day times 365 equals $2,920 per year. Still thousands. And it gets worse because the real cost isn't just what you spent. It's what that money could have become. If you invested $450 per month instead, same money, just redirected, what happens? Let's use a conservative-ish long-term stock market assumption, say 7% average annual return, which is a common inflation-adjusted planning number people use, though returns are never guaranteed. Using rough compound growth math, $450 per month is $5,400 per year contributed. Over 10 years, that's about $74,000. ballpark, if invested consistently at 7%. Over 20 years, that's roughly $230,000 plus. Over 30 years, you're in the neighborhood of $500,000 plus. Again, these are approximate, market returns vary, but the point is solid. Your tiny daily expense isn't costing you $5,400. It's potentially costing you a future where you have options. And that's not me being dramatic. This is literally what compounding does. If it's so expensive, why do smart people keep doing it? Because your brain isn't optimized for retirement, it's optimized for right now. Here are the big psychological forces at play. Present bias is basically your brain saying, $15 today feels real, $500,000 in 30 years feels fake. So you pick the real thing: convenience, dopamine, relief. By the end of the day, you don't want to decide. Cooking is decisions. What to make? Do we have ingredients? How long will it take cleanup? Ordering is one decision. Tap, tap, done. You're not lazy, you're mentally cooked. Look, self-care is real, but most treat yourself spending is actually numb yourself. It's a reward loop. Stress, which is purchase, which is relief, which is repeat. And companies know this. That's why the apps are frictionless, that the notifications are perfectly timed, and the default tip is set to a number that makes you feel like a bad person if you lower it. Here's what most people don't realize. When everyone around you is doing it, it stops feeling like spending. It feels like life. Coffee every morning, lunch out, delivery when busy. It becomes baseline. And baseline is expensive. Let's call it what it is, the convenience tax. You're not paying for food. You're paying to avoid planning, waiting, cooking, cleaning, being mildly uncomfortable for 20 minutes. And I get it. Time matters. But look, you can't keep paying $5,000 a year to avoid mild inconvenience, and then wonder why you can't save $300 a month. That's the trade. Let me tell you about someone I know. Let's call him Chris. Chris isn't broke. He's actually doing fine. Decent salary, paid rent, no crazy debt, normal guy. But he was always stressed about money. Always. So we looked at his spending. Nothing fancy, just a few months of transactions. And the pattern was hilarious in the most painful way. $12 lunch, $6 coffee, $9 snack. Run $18 delivery because I worked late, $7 quick breakfast. He goes, yeah, but those are small. So I added up and I'm like, Chris, you spent $680 last month on food you didn't plan to buy. And he just stared. Not because he didn't believe me, because he did. He just never put it in one number. That's what your bank account is trying to tell you every month, by the way. Good. Me neither. This is not a never buy coffee again video. This is a stop buying it unconsciously every day video. You can absolutely enjoy your money. You just need to enjoy it on purpose. Look, busy people need systems, not willpower. You're not going to outdiscipline a life that's overloaded. We're going to build something realistic. Groceries cost money, yes, but the unit economics are not close. A $12 lunch out is often $3 to $5 worth of food sold to you for $12 to $18 because you're paying for labor, rent, profit, and convenience. If you're buying convenience every day, you're paying premium pricing for basic calories. Let's do a clean example. If you replace 4 lunches per week, not even all of them, with home-prepped lunches, assume lunch out costs $14. Home lunch costs $4. Savings per lunch, $10, 4 lunches per week, times $10 equals $40 per week. $40 per week times 52 equals $2,080 per year. That's not small. That's a Roth IR. A contribution jumpstart a solid emergency fund chunk, paying off a credit card, a vacation you can actually afford without guilt. And that's just lunches. Now stack coffee, snacks, delivery. This is where it gets really interesting. Once you stop bleeding money in small places, the big goals stop feeling impossible. Here's the biggest mistake people make. They try to stop the habit. But habits don't get deleted. They get replaced. Your daily expense is usually solving a problem. Hunger, stress, fatigue, lack of planning, lack of time, boredom. So instead of stop buying lunch, the system becomes, I always have a backup plan. Go into your bank/credit card and filter last 30 days. Find coffee shops, fast casual delivery apps, convenience stores, miscount spending. Add it up. One number. Because you can't fix what you keep emotionally vague. You're going to set a weekly cap like you're an adult, not a monk. Example, $25 per week on coffee, $40 per week on eating out, $20 per week on delivery fees. Whatever fits your income, but it must be intentional. Here's the thing. When you budget convenience, you stop pretending it's not happening. This one is magic. You need 2 emergency meals at home at all times. Not aspirational meals, not salmon and quinoa, I mean frozen meals, pasta plus sauce rice plus beans, rotisserie chicken plus bag salad, ramen plus protein pre-made grocery deli options. Because the enemy isn't hunger, it's the moment you're hungry and tired and there's no plan. That's when your phone becomes a cash incinerator. Make spending slightly harder. Delete delivery apps from your home screen. Remove saved cards from the apps. Turn off notifications. If you really want it, you can still get it. But you'll have to work for it. And here's what most people don't realize. A tiny bit of friction dramatically reduces impulse purchases. Companies spend millions removing friction. You need to put it back. Every time you skip the daily expense, transfer that amount automatically. If you normally spend $12 on lunch and you brought lunch today, transfer $12 to a freedom fund. This is powerful psychologically because you don't feel deprived, you feel rewarded. You're still getting the dopamine hit just from progress, not consumption. Pick one day per week where you can buy the coffee or lunch out. No guilt, no spreadsheet panic. Why? Because deprivation backfires. One planned release valve prevents the "I was good all week, so now I'm going to order $60 of food on Saturday" rebound. It's about identity. When you start bringing lunch or making coffee at home, you're not just saving money. You're becoming the kind of person who plans, follows through, invests in future. You doesn't panic over small emergencies, doesn't need debt to stay afloat. And the first time you see your savings actually growing, you start to trust yourself. That trust is priceless. Let's say you buy a $6 coffee 5 days a week. $6 times 5 equals $30 per week. $30 times 52 equals $1,560 per year. If instead you make coffee at home for, say, 50 cents per cup, 50 cents times 5 equals $2.50 per week, $2.50 times 52 equals $130 per year. That's a difference of $1,430 per year. Now, am I saying never buy coffee? No, I'm saying stop buying it like it's oxygen. Buy it like it's a choice. If you want this to last, you need 3 things. Keep lunch containers ready, keep snacks accessible, keep quick meals stocked. Decisions made hungry are always expensive. Don't track every calorie and penny. Track one number. How much convenience spending did I avoid this week? Then watch your account grow. Back to Chris. He didn't become a meal prep influencer. He didn't start grinding oats at 5 a.m. He did something normal. He limited lunch out to twice a week. He stopped delivery on weekdays. He kept 2 backup meals at home. He made coffee at home 3 days a week. That's it. In 3 months, he had $1,800 in a real emergency fund, less stress, fewer "oh no" moments, and he stopped feeling like his paycheck disappeared into the void. The money didn't just change his bank account, it changed his self-respect. Look, if you take nothing else from this video, take this. You don't have a money problem, you have a daily default problem. And defaults are fixable. This daily expense is costing you thousands every year, not because you're irresponsible, but because it's designed to be invisible. Your job is to make it visible, make it intentional, and redirect even a portion of it into your future. So here's your homework. Go check the last 30 days. Find the number, pick one category, coffee, lunch, delivery, snacks, and cut it in half for the next 2 weeks. Not to suffer, to prove to yourself you're in control. If you want, drop a comment with the one daily expense that's hitting you the hardest, coffee, lunch, delivery, whatever, and I'll reply with a realistic strategy for your situation. And make sure you subscribe, because next week we're talking about the sneaky subscription trap that's quietly draining people every month. See you in the next one.